Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, double honors unto the apostles, and El Salakia. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakar Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GreatMillStone who rule well. Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Pai Allah from the GMS London camp, coming back at you with another installment of Daily Bread. Alright, this is Matthew, the 2nd chapter. Heading on down. Matthew 2:1. Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Okay, so basically, during this time period, we're dealing with a Roman occupation or rulership over the time of the iron craftsman, the iron legs of iron man, during the time of the Roman rulership. Okay. And basically, Herod the king was basically a puppet set up in place to work as a governor over, a false governor over the Israelite people. Okay, you claimed kingship, but mind you, was an Edomite, descended from the line of Edom, and really goes back to and the reason why he descended from the line of Edom. And the reason why he got up in there in the first place was by his forefather marrying in, Herod the Great marrying into the line of the Maccabees, and then basically, usurping authority over the people of Israel. And this is the time period we're in. So you have an Edomite sitting as king in the land of Israel, in Jerusalem, the city of peace, showing you there was no peace. All right, verse 2, saying, where is he that is born the King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where the anointed should be born. So this shows you that Herod, being an Edomite, understood and showed acknowledgement of the scriptures, because he inquired of the chief priests and the scribes of the people. All right, the chief priests, they got down into the scriptures, as well as the scribes, being a high class in the nation of Israel, who basically delved deep into the scriptures. Okay, and they were men that made up at the time what was known as a Sanhedrin. Okay, or what has been known today as come to be known as a Sanhedrin. Okay, verse 5. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. All right, so basically, it shows you the prophecy was set in place, and it shows you the Heavenly Father's word doesn't go out void. When you deal with these scriptures, when you're going through all of them, what you find is that these scriptures reiterate, especially in the gospel, you find with the first chapter, this is the 2nd chapter, what you're going to find is many references to the Old Testament, showing you that those things were fulfilled. And vice versa, it's the same, not vice versa, but it's the same thing with things that are said in the New Testament. They're being completed in this time period that we're in, okay? And there's still things even in the Old Testament that are being brought forth today in this day and time that we're in, all right? So it shows you that prophecy is a major thing dealing with this Bible. The spirit of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy, as it tells you in Revelation, the 19th chapter. So the point being, it said, out of the land of Bethlehem, Bayaf Lacham, which basically means Bayaf is house and Lacham is bread. So the house of bread, which is the city of David, and which Joseph, being of the line of David, when you had to pay taxes to the Romans, you had to go back to your father's town, basically, and he had to go back there to pay his taxes in accordance with that statute that's set in place. Okay, and it's fitting because the Lord is known as the bread of life. Okay, so it's only fitting that he'd come out of the house of bread. Okay, so now and the point, this is the reason why Herod was scared. It said, for out of these shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Okay, then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. And you see that he told them, he went privately onto them, and he told them, and he inquired of them diligently. He questioned them, bit by bit, inquiring to settle his mind. Then he basically administered them and basically told him, look, go forth and find this child and let me know so I can go and worship him, being the Edomite that he is in deceit. Verse 9. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they had saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. Genesis 1:14, 1:12 tells you about the signs, the stars, the sun, the moon, and the stars, the hosts of heaven being created for signs and seasons, which these wise men, them being wise, understood those signs of the seasons and got up and departed from their place in the east over to where? Jerusalem, heading westward. All right. Verse 11, and when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. They didn't worship Mary, they worshipped him, the Lord. And that shows you the Lord is to be worshipped, man. Yahweh Shai. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts. So these treasures that they had, these treasure chests that they had, these are the gifts that were within them. All right. Gold and frankincense and myrrh. Showing you these things are of great value. Gold, as we go back into the book of Genesis, it tells you how gold was one of the things that made Abraham rich. And then frankincense and myrrh, when you go down to the Middle East, which is the reason where we're originally from, okay, that we used to dwell, these were things of great value because the Lord made the herb for the service of man. And this provided a great service unto man, dealing with infirmities, oils, scenting and whatnot, multiple uses. Okay. Verse 12, and being warned of the Most High in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. Okay, see, that's why he inquired diligently. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. And it was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. And you have these black unconsciousness miscreants basically try to use that to show that, the Bible got everything from Egypt. No, our people always dwelt in Egypt. That's why you dunderhead Negroes are basically speaking so highly in reverence of Egypt, because you're the same Negroes that were back there loving what Egypt had to offer. But you had strongholds, so-called strongholds of our people down in Egypt, as you did also in Spain, yeah, where Tarshish, where Jonah fled to. You had little places where you had our people dwelling at. Okay, so that's what happened. We went and dwelt there. Jeroboam was an example. He fled to Egypt when he was running away from King Solomon. And funny enough, King Solomon fleeing away from King Herod in this instance. But that being Yahushua, Okay, verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and all in the coast thereof. Now, why didn't he, if he wanted to, worship the Lord, why didn't he just ferociously seek for the Lord to bow before him? Because he's a devil. He weren't. His plan was, look, I got to kill this guy, this boy, this baby, before he can usurp authority over me. He was wary. Okay, that's why he did this. For 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, in Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and will not be comforted because they are not. All right, and this is funny because this is the same And this story is, the same as the Exodus, right? Dealing with Moses. Moses was born during the time of when it was all the Hebrew men shall be killed from 2 years and under. But this was done so because that was generally done for the Hebrews, really done for Moses' sake, for the story to play out how it played out. But this was done more specifically because the Lord was on the scene and showing you how big a threat he is to the heathen. Why did the heathen rage? Okay? And imagine a vain thing. And that was the vain thing to think that it could stop the prophecy of the Lord. His word doesn't go out void. All right, verse 19. But when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeareth in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. But when he had heard that Archelaus did reign in Judea, in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go thither. Notwithstanding, being warned of the Most High in a dream, he turned aside into the parts of of Galilee. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. So this shows you that the prophecy of the Bible reigns true, because we reading this, there's three or so prophecies that are mentioned or quoted, all right? And it shows you that prophecy reigns true, man. And that the Lord, only the reason why he dwelt in Galilee was to fulfill, the prophecy spoken. Okay? So with that, man, I pray you're edified. To say shalom.